If a classical musician who just started being interested in improvising in classical music, would be your first advice?
I think if you want to improvise as a classical musician, you need also to learn the style. So you should ask the composers of the pieces you are improvising in. So you have to study their pieces very well and see what is already ornamentation. Well, now I'm talking about ornamentation, and it's not only ornamentation what you do as improvising in classical music.
Would you say that is a starting point?
Yeah,
How would they be able to start improvising? Like, how would they learn from Van Eyck, do you think?
you can first start with his to learn the melodies, and I think everybody knew these melodies, these tunes, and so for us it's also possible to learn the tunes because they are very structured, very healthy tunes. Well, actually, this variation style, you can say it's the diminution style. It's a kind of a cut and paste procedure. So if you start with one interval or one structure in the melody, and you show somebody, okay, but you can replace it for this or that, a little ornamentation or a little diminution or breaking, as he calls it, then it's not so complicated, and you can make give more places to, or first they have to learn how that they can scan the melody to see where the situation is the
Yeah,
same
right.
interval, and so then you can increase the amount of intervals or new little motifs to change. It's not so difficult.
Do you find that it does take a lot of time to incorporate these elements, or is that also not even true?
Yeah, it takes, of course, a lot of time. It took me a lot, years and years and years and years. Of course, no, but the funny thing is that you can always develop it further and further, and even the if you have only one trick, it's fun to do. So you can go as far as you can, and for me, it was also, for instance, if I was practicing his style, I just make my own variation, and then I go back to his one and see what is different. Oh, that's much better, or this is, oh well, oh this is boring. Mine was better, or whether you
Yeah.
compare it, or you see, hey, why is it like this, or why is it like that? But first, try your own version, and then go back to his one, because
Uh,
then he teaches you.
yeah. How do you practice improvising?
Well, it depends also from the style. Eh? If I practice 17th century improvisation, then you can do that and do that and do that again. But what I do for myself when I'm practicing that, I sometimes I write out new ideas
Mm.
because then you have more time and you can think about more um, possibilities. And because when you are improvising, you stay a little bit
Yeah.
in in between the cage of the rules. So it helps me to, if I do the research, to enlarge my toolkit and see for, okay, in this situation, oh, this is a nice cadence formula. I have to repeat it and repeat it again so that it's part of me, so I can use it in that situation.
Yeah.
To and then it's good to make a list of, okay, this variation will be has to be in
Yeah.
notes, and this has to be in this rhythm or that one. So to give yourself, yeah, limitations to, otherwise it's becoming one big blur.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you have the same experience.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, the blur is always on the horizon, let's say.
yeah. For my own stuff, yeah, playing again and again, and sometimes, oops, hey, that was new. Let's see what we can do with that. And that's a different process because the early stuff is, yeah, more strict. So that takes a lot of work and, yeah, different work
Yeah,
from, yeah.
and interesting. Yeah, so you do make a distinction in terms of style.
For instance, koi. And that was just a little structure, a little chord, and it really felt for me like a cage, and every time a new note's trying to escape from it,
Ah,
and then at a certain moment it grows a little bit, and then a new melody starts, and then I turn the roles, and then that melody becomes the cage, and then the other notes have to escape. Well, it's a funny games.
in many of your improvisations, motifs come back and then they're played with and changed. When you start improvising, do you have special mechanisms for remembering and or changing such motifs?
Yeah, that's how you play the game, the rule, and make your rules for it. For instance, in Ritz, for me it was like playing with Lego. You see what it's very small little motifs, and I thought, okay, this little brick I can play twice, or and this is a longer brick and I can play that twice, or I can combine it, or just build my brick. You can put them like this, or you can put them like that, or
Yeah.
you can change color. So it's that was playing with same motives, with voice, without voice, uh, longer, shorter, repeat, not repeat, or repeat a combination or not. And that kind of, yeah, that was also, that is the game.
Yeah, but actually, so this for you was a very a visual, or
Yeah,
did you?
yeah, many times I have gestures or forms in my head, like cages, like
Yeah.
zipper, like
Did any, so did also are did some of the pieces sort of come out of an idea that you found in another piece?
yeah, oh yes, absolutely. And sometimes I made notes every day, just otherwise it's becoming one. You have to follow your own development, or
Yeah.
and also make little notes of ideas and little themes to see, okay, this a little theme I'm going to work with tomorrow. But you have to just to make it a little bit of yeah, give it some structure.